Hello and good evening, everybody. It is Brandon Foster from Magic Land Vacations and Travel Planning Genies, and I have two other amazing travel planning genies with me tonight. I have Laura. Hello, Laura. And I have Diane as well. Hello, Diane.
Hi.
And we are all excited to be here with you all tonight live. We have friends and family and so many amazing Disney and Universal, I want to say like Disnerds, people who love Disney like us, who are watching on YouTube and on our Facebook, a private Facebook group where we share all of our top secret tips and tricks. And tonight, if you guys do not know, we are talking all about how to plan those amazing group trips to Walt Disney World. When I talk about amazing, I mean, think about when you have your grandma with you, which Laura is actually a brand new grandma. That's why I say that. But your grandparents with you, your kiddos with you, you as a parent, or whether it's like, I don't know, a college reunion, you're getting married at the Magic Kingdom, whatever it is. I don't know, ROTC program, band trip for high school, whatever it is, your big group planning trips. We're going to talk to you guys everything that you really should think about when you go to start planning this kind of amazing Disney World vacation. And so before we get started, Laura and Diane, I would love for you guys just to say, hey, and a little bit about yourself. You don't have to say hey like that, but you know.
Hey, like you.
Just let everybody know, you know, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a grandmother of one with one more on the way. So I'll be a grandmother of two come April. Loved Disney for so very long. Love planning Disney vacations for everybody. I mean, nothing's happier than Disney. I mean, come on. It's Disney.
I love you. I love your mini ears. I love your mini ears so much. I have a pair of goofy ears, but you know, they're long and everything else. But when did you get those?
One of our other genies, Jessie, picked them up for me when she was in Epcot the other day.
Oh, where's mine?
Say they look great.
Years. These were one by, but Jessie found them for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jessie is another one of our amazing travel planning genies, and she's bilingual, which is amazing. Diane, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a genie myself too, and I'm in St. Louis, so I'm not in Florida with the rest of those guys. So I book travel here from St. Louis, and I am also a grandma. I am a grandma of 3. So yeah, and I enjoy Disney, love it, love spending time there, love booking Disney. Can't wait to get back there.
This means that both of you all have been planning for multiple generations now.
Yes.
Disney and Universal destination vacations. That's awesome.
Correct.
So let's get right into what it takes to plan a group trip to Disney World. That's why we are here today. And I want to go ahead and share a little ditty for you guys to follow along with. And Diane has actually been planning a huge family reunion right now. So, and I planned a few group trips myself. And Laura is in the middle of planning a huge family reunion as well for her family. So this is going to be a lot of really, really helpful information because we're kind of all in the trenches. We're all in the trenches, so to speak. Yep. And so let's talk about how to plan a group trip to Disney World. When we talk about groups, I think it's helpful to know what size we're talking about. Dining reservations at Disney World basically stop at 8 for the most part, with capacity as far as how many people can be at a table. So for our practical purposes, when we talk about planning a group to Disney World, we're talking about 8 or more people, because that's really kind of the cusp of what a group would be when it comes to dining reservations, where you'd start to require more than one table your family. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of booking with group reservations. A lot of people don't know that, But yes, Disney does have a group reservation system. How do you even begin planning a group trip? Like, what do you even need to think about when you're first starting to plan a group trip? Dining with large groups, what is that process like? Because there are a few restaurants that actually have really amazing private dining areas that you can dine in. And of course, creating the daily park plans. I mean, if you're going to Disney World, you're going to go to the Magic Kingdom, you're going to go to the 4 parks, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Ride of the Resistance, all those things we're going to talk about in this video. It's going to be super, super helpful to all of you on YouTube and Facebook land. So the first question to ask is, when do you want to go? And so, Diane, talk us through, like, I know for your big family reunion you're planning for your clients right now, there was a lot of discussion about holidays and the parties. So you want to talk about why they decided on the date that they're coming on their vacation? Oop, there you go.
Kind of lost you there for a second. So say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said, so the first thing we have to decide is when you want to go. So can you walk us through kind of how that conversation was like for the big family reunion you're planning for your client, and how you guys arrived on when they wanted to go on their vacation?
Sure. So the group that I'm actually in the process of making that special dream for them to come true is, I have 25 of them that are actually going. So I talked to this client. We went through their budget. So the budget is basically the start of everything. So they decided that they were kind of on a budget with those 25 people. So we went with one of the value resorts, which is the Disney Pop Century. So then we decided to, after that, we decided who was coming. So they have two different groups that are coming. So one side of them is from Oklahoma, the other side is from Texas. So we have the Oklahoma side. We have one what we call as a group leader, and then we have one from the Texas side, which is the group leader.
We're going to talk about group leaders in a second, but what I want to know is, how did you guys decide on the dates, the travel dates? How did they decide on the travel dates?
Well, they wanted to go right around Christmas and the Halloween season. So we booked them right around October 30th, so they could actually see both seasons. So they're going to be from October 30th through November 7th. So they're going to actually be able to do the Halloween and the Christmas together.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, and something that people have to think about when they're planning a group trip is, you know, what kind of experience do you actually want to have in the parks? I mean, the parks are amazing no matter what time of the year you go, but depending upon where you go, you're going to have a different festival, right? Or at Epcot, right? You could have the Flower and Garden Festival, you could have the Food and Wine Festival, you can have the Arts Festival. So that's one decision you have to think about is, okay, what festival is going to be at Epcot? And your client's decision, it was, we want to be able to see some of the decorations and things from Halloween and Christmas. Laura, talk us through about, you know, for your group trip that you're planning, how did you guys arrive on Christmas, November?
Well, actually, we came up with November because part of the family is going to be taking a cruise, and they're going to have to leave to go on a cruise. So they're coming in before the cruise. So we're going to have the whole family there before some of the family leaves for their cruise. So our date was pretty much set. There wasn't a lot of wiggle room and that kind of stuff on ours. But we're going to try and we're going to make it fun. We're going to do some Christmas stuff, and we're going to look into some Christmas parties, see if we can get in on one of the Christmas parties if they come back this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So one thing I would say is that, you know, you can plan a Disney vacation, you know, within a couple of weeks if there's availability. But when you are planning a large group, it is helpful to plan more in advance, especially to get the resort rooms that you actually want to stay in, to lock those in. And I will say that when you go, obviously, if you have kids, which most families that are going in big groups, they have kids, there's, school to think about. I am a former 8th grade middle school teacher. I never had any problem with my students missing a little bit of school as long as it wasn't FSA testing to actually go on vacation. That's something that has to be a conversation between parent and teacher. But we all know, early September, right when school goes back into session, early January when school is back in session, right before school lets out in May, like the first week of May. Those are all really dead times, basically, for Disney. First week of October is really good, too. First week of November is really good as well. Those are typically your dead times. Obviously, peak times is going to be June, July, the summer, holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and, of course, spring break and Easter weekend as well. But those are some ideas of when you want to go. So this is really important, right? And I'm sure all of you all have had this conversation as I have with clients, which is, who is paying for this trip? I had a client that planned a group Disney cruise, and she actually inherited some money, and so she paid for everybody. So if you have, a sugar mom or sugar dad or whoever that has that mad money is going to pay for the trip, that's great, right? But one of the things we have to know when planning group trip is who's going to pay for it. One person, or is every family for themselves? And so I know, Diane, in your case, your family, they're all paying, each family is paying their own way, correct?
Correct. They are. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So the reason why that's important is because different families have different income levels, right? And so that's something that's really important when you look at planning the group trip. Is some families might want to stay at a deluxe, some might want to stay at a value, depending upon what their income level is. And that kind of leads us into some more of the ideas behind the group planning and how to make that decision. Okay, so let's talk about trip captains, because every trip needs to have at least 1 or 2 trip captains. And Diane, since you're actually working with 2 trip captains, can you explain why it's so important to have like a trip captain?
Yeah. Well, like I said, my family reunion is actually is so big that they are in 2 different locations. So they decided, instead of it being just one person that was going to take over the entire trip, they decided, let's let one person do the Oklahoma side, one person do the Texas side, which made a lot of sense because, it's a lot of going back and forth. But yes, you need that particular person to be head of everything, so that you have that one person that you can go to and talk to them. They can go back to their group and talk, let everybody know what's going on. And it's wonderful, so instead of having to talk to several different people, you're just talking to those 2 people or that one person to relay the messages back to whoever needs to.
Yeah. Laura, do you have anything you want to add to that?
It makes it so much easier, because then it's just easier to just your trip captain, get all the information, and then they can disperse it among the family members, and then the family members coordinate with them and come back with that one deal, instead of talking to, like Diane, talking to 20 people, and then everybody one head or 2 people, depending on the size of your group. And that makes it so much easier on the families and, everybody else that's working with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, by the way, the person who is a trip captain, they actually need to be able to make the decision. Like, don't say that someone is a trip captain and come to find out it's like the wife or the husband, like behind the door, who's actually making those decisions, right? It actually needs to be the person who is actually comfortable saying, nope, like everybody, like this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
There needs to be someone that is truly capable and okay with, I don't want to say making other people upset, but like okay with towing the line, that not everybody might, at the end of the day, might be happy with every decision that is made, right? And we're going to talk about how to do how the best way is to make sure everybody is happy, because that is important. Everybody should have a magical, most amazing vacation. That's what we do. It's what we specialize in. But with a group trip,
Right.
you know, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge. So to use or not use Disney group reservations. So if you've never planned a group trip to Disney, you're thinking about a family reunion or a wedding or local soccer team, whatever it is, should you or should you not use Disney group reservations? So here's some things that you all need to know about Disney group reservations. First of all, you have to have a minimum of 10 rooms that you are contractually agreeing to book. 10 rooms is the minimum to work with Disney group meetings and events. Everyone must share one night for a common date. So what does that mean, Brandon? You're speaking gibberish to me at this point. What that means is that let's say that Laura, me, and Diane, we all were planning our huge family reunions together at Walt Disney World for Christmas. That means that we would tell Disney, hey, on the 24th, Christmas Eve, we guarantee we're going to have 10 rooms booked for our group reservation. And after that, it's up to our individual families when we arrive and when we leave. And we can get our group rate 3 days before that 24th date and 3 days after the 24th group date. So basically 6 days in total. But we all have to be sleeping in our little booked rooms, our 10 rooms, on the 24th. Now, if you're booking 12 or more, you don't have a choice. You have to go through Disney groups if you're booking 12 or more rooms. So more things that you need to know. So that discounted rate is available 3 days prior and 3 days after the duration of the official group travel dates. And those group travel dates can be more than 1 day for sure, but a minimum of 1 day for that group travel rate, which can be extended. Additional per night charge for 3 to 4 guests. This might actually surprise people because if you're familiar with booking Walt Disney World reservations, there is a flat $200 deposit and there is no additional fee for second, third, fourth guests. It's just basically, the ticket prices obviously change depending upon how many guests you have, but the room rate doesn't. That is different for group reservations. So something you have to take into consideration. When we were looking at for some recent clients, the extra charge was around $15 per additional third and fourth guest. So not like a huge sum of money, but still something to consider. There's also a penalty if you fall below the contractual room agreement amount. So if you have some flakies in your family, okay, some people who say they're going to do something and don't do something, and you sign a contract, you might be, I don't know, offering on eBay an extra Disney room to get someone to come so you don't have to pay your penalty, right? So something else to think about that people don't realize with group reservations. So this is like, whoa, Brandon, that's a lot of information, but this is how specific Disney is with their cancellation penalty. By the way, any prices, any terms and conditions we're sharing today are subject to change at any moment by Disney. So this is not, the Bible that I'm speaking here, or, this is the last I looked, okay? 90 days prior to group's arrival, you can reduce your room block by 20% without charge. Beginning 9 days prior up to 45 days, 10% of the room block can go without penalty. After this, or if the group reduction is greater than the above percentages, your attrition charge is equal to 90% of the nightly room rate, which that means if your favorite uncle can't make the trip, you might have to reach out to your not so favorite neighbor to come and stay so you don't have to pay that 90% penalty. Disney will attempt to resell any room nights released by you by placing them back into Disney's unsold inventory. So, hey, that's nice. They're going to try to help you out, right? But there's no guarantee. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about some pros of group reservations. So when you do a group reservation through Disney, you're going to guaranteed one contact through Disney meetings and events. That's amazing. One point person. It's one of the reasons why people love to work with us, because we do all the work for you. And so you don't have to do a call center. You don't have to send, a whole bunch of different emails to different people. You have one genie to grant your vacation wishes. So group reservations is kind of the same way. And we make that even easier on our clients because we become that point of contact for that Disney meeting and event person. They will hold the block of rooms at one hotel all together. That means you are guaranteed to have those rooms together if you do group reservations through Disney. So that's really, really nice. You'll have a specific contact at that resort hotel as well. That means that they will know that you're going to be there. And you can easily coordinate other activities, ballroom spaces, private dining. We'll talk more about that. But it's really easy to coordinate all that stuff. Plus, a potential for a cheaper room rate. I say potential because it really does depend on what packages Disney has released for normal room reservations and normal Walt Disney World Magic Your Way packages. Sometimes it is cheaper for group reservations. Sometimes it's not. And even when it is cheaper, sometimes it's only a little bit. So there is a little bit of variety there. All right, so cons. The penalty if you don't meet the contracted number of rooms, 90%. Families can choose different resort hotels. Can't choose different resort hotels. So that means everybody has to be at the same hotel, which means less flexibility. So one of the advantages of not doing a group reservation through Disney is that you could have one family stay at a deluxe hotel, one family stay at a value hotel, one stay at a moderate hotel, which is great. Whereas with group reservations, they have to be at the same one. And we talked about the savings may or may not be that much more than other packages. So before we go on to dining with large groups, Diane, why don't you just talk a little bit about how you arrived at your decision, weighing the pros and cons of going with Disney groups or not with your client's family?
So I did talk to them about the 10-room minimum. They were afraid of not being able to keep that 10-room. So we ended up going with they decided that since they were on a budget, they were going to go ahead and put everybody into actually 6 rooms. So that's what they ended up doing with that there. We did talk about, because at one time, one of the groups, the Texas group, actually wanted to go into a different hotel than what they ended up going with. But in the end, they ended up all going in the same hotel, which would have been fine. Like Brandon said, you could, without being in the group rate, they were able to pick 2 different hotels if they had wanted to. But they ended up in the end going with the one hotel. So that was good for them. Let's see what else.
Yeah, I also want to talk about just briefly, Diane, the idea of the Skyliner is so nice because one of the things about families and groups is if not everybody is staying at the same hotel, then the question that we have to deal with as travel agents is, well, how do I meet up with my family? And how do I meet up if I don't want to just meet up at the parks, right? And it is a challenge to do that if you're staying at Disney resort hotels that are with the buses, because the buses go directly to the actual parks in Disney Springs. They don't go to other resort hotels. So to go from a Disney resort hotel to another Disney resort hotel, you got to take a bus to either a park or Disney Springs and then take a transfer bus over. With the Skyliner, the amazing thing about the Skyliner is it connects Epcot and Hollywood Studios and resort hotels to one another. So that's a huge benefit with the Skyliner is you could have a family stay at Pop Century and at Art of Animation. And they actually share the same exact Skyliner station. They actually walk and meet each other, right? And even if you had families that wanted to stay at different resort tiers, you have Disney's Riviera Resort, which is more of a deluxe hotel. You have Caribbean Beach, which is moderate. So you actually have all the tiers covered within the Skyliner system, and you can really easily meet up with your friends and family. So I think that's awesome. Lori, have anything you want to add to that? I just wanted to make sure people thought of that.
Oh yeah, it makes it really nice because we were there last weekend, and the way that Caribbean Beach is laid out, there's 2 different Skyliner places you can jump on, and it makes it so nice. You can get right off there at Riviera and be right there in Aruba to catch all your stuff with your friends. You can go down to Jamaica and get on another one and catch up with your family members coming from the other groups. The Skyliner is amazing. I love that whole loop for trying to do big family groups that want to stay in different level resorts. It's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, you know, the Caribbean Beach, if you all don't know, is actually the hub for the Skyliner. So if you want to stay at the hub where you're not switching from one Skyliner line to the other one, there's two different routes from Caribbean Beach, one that goes to Hollywood Studios, one that goes to Epcot. So just a little more information for you guys. So let's talk about dining with large groups when you go to Disney. So first of all, we talked about this earlier, but the maximum for most table service restaurants right now is 8. Some of them do have 10, but for the majority of them, the max is 8 people. So here's the thing. If you have like Diane's family reunion that she's playing that has 24 people. So if Diane is going to get dining reservations for more than 8, what they have to actually do in their system is book multiple tables that add up to the number of people in that traveling party. So for 24, they're going to need 3 tables of 8 or 4 tables of 6. And it depends on what that availability is to book multiple reservations. And that's one of the reasons why people love hiring us, is because we do all that for you. That's part of our VIP services, where we take care of, you don't have to do anything but pack. So, and show up for your vacation. But yeah, so a lot of people don't think about this. Like, you can't call Disney and be like, hey, I want a reservation for a table for 24. It doesn't work that way. Because they have the tables broken up into their system. You can also use if you wanted a private room, you could also do more of a bougie experience, if you will, and go through Disney Catering, which has a minimum of $5,000 charge plus 25% taxable service charge plus 6.5% sales tax. So $6,700 minimum right now. And that price is a little different than it normally is because of COVID. So just keep that in mind, because of additional measures and stuff like that in place. But the reason why some people like to do this way, especially if you're celebrating something really important, like a wedding or a renewal of vows or a huge bar mitzvah or a quinceañera, something like that, you can actually have private rooms at California Grill. They have the Napa room, which actually overlooks the Magic Kingdom. And when fireworks come back, you can see the fireworks from there as well. It's beautiful. And then there's also the Toledo restaurant that has its own private room, which is a Gran Destino Tower. Now, these do have minimums that apply. So that minimum group catering, okay, is for the overall price that you pay. Within the restaurants, there's a food and beverage minimum. So California Grill's minimum is, I believe, $4,000, and Gran Destino is anywhere from $3,000 to $3,500. And then you have a little bit of wiggle room to do some add-ons if you want to. Or you could do the ballrooms at any of the resort hotels that have meeting spaces. That's the Contemporary, Grand Floridian, Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club, and Coronado. And the price per person minimum is $110 per person. And then however that takes you towards that $5,000 mark, then the rest you would spend for centerpieces and table arrangements. And we found this out just the other day. Laura, do you want to share what the current price is to have Mickey or Goofy at your private event?
Well, you better be ready to break out that checkbook, because right now during COVID, you want Mickey to come to your dinner, you need $7,000 to have Mickey come to your dinner, because that includes all of Mickey's handlers. There are people in front and back and beside that all have to keep a certain area space around Mickey because of our social distancing, and it includes all the setup. They'll have a certain decorations and setting for Mickey to be in there, like a movie set type thing. But right now, because of COVID, yeah, that's going to cost you 7 big ones.
I'm not gonna lie, I would totally spend $7,000 on Goofy if I could have him for like several. I don't know. I'd have to get like a lot of pictures, and it would have to be like a private dining experience with me and Goofy, like a socially distanced. I love Goofy so much, Laura. You know, I would totally do that.
I know that you would, but Brandon, let's wait until after all of this is over with, when it's a much more reasonable cost.
I'm just saying that Disney's Imagineering is amazing, and the thing is that I know that does seem like woo, right? However, what people have to understand is the way that their amazing catering and events person explained it to us and our team was that they create a set piece basically to socially distance the characters from you and your family. So I really want to know, like, it's gonna be really amazing for that amount of money. Like, are we talking like I can show them pictures of like circus stuff and be like, I want a circus Goofy. Like, give me a circus Goofy with like a circus backdrop. Like, I feel like it should be really custom and amazing for that amount of money. Like, even
Justin better be worried.
Like, even when it says like Brandon is Goofy's biggest fan, or Brandon and Goofy BFF forever, or something like that, like in the backdrop, right? I mean, I'm thinking like I can go to FedEx Kinko's and get like a really nice banner made for like $100. So if I'm paying $7,000 with the character, I'm thinking like, I don't know, maybe you have like a wooden trunk painted with Brandon and Goofy BFFs forever or something amazing. I'm just saying.
That'd be nice if you got to keep it.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
I know, I'm going up on a huge tangent right here, but like, and the reason why is because my husband and I, we almost got married at Disney. And the price at that time was, I think, $1,500 for a character. So legit, the prices way went up because of COVID and the extra work that goes into it because of the COVID distancing measures. But I also remember it was like the next character was like not as expensive. It was like $1,500 for the first one and like $250 or $500 for the next one. So like in my head, I'm already thinking like Goofy, Chip and Dale, Mickey Donald. Don't really need Mickey and Minnie. They get a lot of love already. They don't need any more love. But let's give some love to Chip and Dale and some of the other ones. I'm like totally going off of group dining stuff now.
Well, and one of the other things about the group dining, when you're dealing with group dining and you've got a lot of people, so say you've got 25, 30 people and you've got 10 of them that are kids. So these 10 kids, let's face it, we all have kids. We have grandkids now. They're going to scarf their dinner. They're going to be done in 10 minutes. And what are we going to do with them for the next hour, hour and a half? So the one thing they do offer is they'll have some things in place for these kids, something for them to do. They have activities for them to do to keep them busy and keep them out of your hair so that you can enjoy your dinner, especially when you're paying that much money.
Yeah, Laura, exactly. I'm laughing because I could totally see myself being ostracized with the kids, do the kids' activities. Like, I scarf my dinner down in 15 minutes.
That would be Brandon. He would be over there.
Brandon, go ahead. Go play with Goofy and the kids. Yep.
That would be Brandon.
Yep. Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, totally would happen. All right, so let's talk about how the heck do you plan a park day with a large group? Now, I've done this for families, and this cracks me up because this was obviously when we had fast passes, but even with families of like 6, like a mom, a dad, or 2 parents, 2 dads, 2 moms, whatever, and they have 4 kids, they don't even all want to do the same thing, right? Because you have like a kid that's like 12 or 11, and then you have the kids that are like 4 or 5. So one is like, let's go ride Goofy's Sky School. And the other one is like, I want to go ride Space Mountain. It's like, so how do you even start planning a day with a large group in the parks? Laura, you want to give them kind of your plan? Because Laura, the one you're planning, it has babies. That's
We
like
have
a
baby.
whole nother situation.
That's going to be that's a whole nother animal. But the nice part is because they have ride swapping. So you can do ride swapping. So the adults, the ones that have the smaller children and want to ride those things, you can do ride swapping. You can certainly split up your groups, and you can, divide and conquer. You take those teenagers and the older ones and you stick somebody with them and let them go, conquer the mountains. And then you can take some of your smaller ones and you can go and hit some of the smaller rides, Dumbo and Aladdin, magic carpets and stuff like that, the things that they want to do. But you have to be flexible and be ready to kind of divide and conquer on some of those things.
Yeah, divide and conquer. I think divide and conquer was the key word there that you said, Laura, because trying to get everybody to do the same thing is just like not going to happen, and you're just fighting a losing battle. So it really becomes, and I have to be honest, like this is probably in one respect a great time to plan a group family vacation with the COVID protocols in place, because everybody's on a level playing field when it comes to waiting in line for the rides. And Disney did release that no more than 10 people per social marker, which makes sense because like you can't have 10 people in like a 6 feet of space anyway. So not happening. But but it is a nice time for planning a big group family reunion or vacation or wedding or what have you, knowing that the fast pass issue is kind of eliminated. Now, I have to say that's one reason why people love our services is because they will give us, it's almost like Tetris. Like these two people want these two rides, and these two people want these two rides, and these two want this rides, and getting them all to actually mesh with like some kind of cohesive timetable can be a challenge. But we're up for the challenge. We do it. But it really is. And not everybody wants to ride the same rides anyway. So Diane, kind of walk us through your process, because obviously your clients you're in the planning stages, so we're not there yet. But in terms of like how you're approaching that with your clients, making sure that everybody is happy, what is your kind of approach or thought process?
Yeah, so we talked about this too. They're all going to the same parks on the same day, but we have some older adults that are going, and there are some children that are going to be there. So during the Halloween session, we do have some that are going to the Not So Scary Halloween, and then we have a group. Half the group is going to be going to Universal for their Halloween event. So that's at the beginning. So that's you got that there, but you also my group decided that being older, some of the little kids will go back and take a nap during the day, and the other ones will stay and keep going. So, and they don't always want to be together all the time. Being with your family and your relatives you can only take them for so long. And then it's like, let's go.
That's something
do something else.
Right? They're planning a big group vacation, and it's like you get on your nerves after like 2 hours at Thanksgiving, and now you're gonna plan a whole week with the people. Yeah. like
exactly.
Just keep that in mind, right? Like everybody has. The thing about families is that family is family. There's a huge, strong bond with family, even if it's not a family. If you're planning like a band group or ROTC or Purple Hat. Is that what they're called? The Purple Hat Clubs? If you are a member of a Purple Hat, what is it called?
It's the Purple Hat Ladies.
Yeah, the Purple Hat Ladies. If somebody out there in YouTube land or Facebook land, mom, grandma, you are part of the Purple Hat Ladies, I just think it'd be so cool to plan a vacation for Purple Hat Lady Club. I think that would be amazing. Anyway, the point is that no matter what your group is, everybody has their BFFs within the group, and that's okay. So within that group dynamic, you and the BFF will go do your BFF things, and the other BFFs will go do their BFF things, and then you'll have that community bonding time together to really celebrate and enjoy the vacations together. And of course, You gotta get an iconic picture in front of Cinderella's castle with everybody all together. So let's wrap it up with any final thoughts, Laura, that you want to bestow to people about planning big group Disney trips.
You have to be flexible. You have to realize, like Brandon said, not everybody wants to do everything at the same time, and that's so okay. It's fun when you run into your family, when you're running through the parks and you're going ride to ride, and you come across, you know, your aunt and uncle with your cousins and stuff, and you run into them and go, oh my God, we just got off Rise of the Resistance. Oh, we were just in Millennium Falcon. And, you know, and talk about it. Just be flexible. It's okay that everybody goes a different direction. You come back at the end of the night, you go back to the resort and you hang out by the pool or something, you talk about your day. It's awesome. Just be flexible and you're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great time. Nobody has to do everything together, especially now when you're stuck in the house with your family.
My husband and I don't always do everything together. There's some rides that he won't ride with me. He'll ride Mommy with me at Universal once, and that's it. David and Sherry Gregg said it's the Red Hat and Purple Dress Society, or the Red Hatters for short. I love that. The Red Hatters. Yes.
There you go.
I want to plan a vacation for the Red Hatters to go meet the Mad Hatter at Disney World. I love that. They can talk about hats. They can share hat tips.
They can talk about hat things.
That's right.
Diane, what kind of people who are tuning into this are like,
what are they doing?
Yeah. What are they talking about? Yeah.
You should watch the other channels. You go ahead, Diane, your final tips.
Yeah, my final tip is, you know, just take your time, enjoy your vacation. That's what you're there for. You're there to enjoy the time to spend with your family and have a vacation. You don't want to go home and have to have another vacation. So enjoy your time with your family, enjoy your time in the park. And that's pretty much it. We're there to help you. We're there to help you to make it the best vacation that you have and want, and give us a call.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are there to help you. So that is our link right down there, magiclandvacations.com/quote. That's how you schedule a consultation with Diane and with Laura and our other amazing travel planning genies who aren't on this call with us, Josh, Janine, and Jesse. So so happy and grateful all of you guys came in to watch our YouTube /Facebook group /live /awesome /group planning amazing trip. So happy that you guys joined us. Make sure you put in the comments how your experience was planning a group trip. And if you have questions about a group trip, put that in the comments too below. We would all love to answer your questions. And Laura, why don't you tell them how they can sign up for some of our amazing giveaways?
You have to go to magiclandvacations.com. You have to join our Facebook group and sign up for the tips and tricks. Then you can get in. I do want to say, whenever you do plan your group vacations and do all that, please send us pictures. We love to see them. I have a picture of one of my families that went. It was a large group that went, had their pictures made with Mickey and Minnie. I love this. I love this. I always print out the pictures my clients send me and so that I have them to go back and look at. It's so much fun. We like to them on our pages. So those pictures.
I love that. Laura, you're sounding a little bit like a robot.
I think she froze up.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll schedule another live stream.
I know, it's acting weird. You're sounding like a robot too.
Well, we will plan another live stream really soon. Thank you all for joining us from all of us at Magicland Vacations. Remember, we are the Disney and Universal vacation planning experts. You all make the wishes. We grant them for you. Have an amazing evening. Bye, everybody.
Bye.